On the 7th of February 2020, my brother Samuel released the debut episode of his new podcast, Pilgrim Pit Stop. I was the guest. Since then, a few things have happened. Samuel has continued his podcast throughout the pandemic, interviewing his guests remotely and releasing one episode a fortnight. As the days rolled by, an idea began to form in our heads. What if, once this COVID-19 lockdown has been relaxed, the two of us could walk St Columba's Way, a 280-kilometre pilgrimage across Scotland from Iona to St Andrews, west coast to east coast.
That's terrifying.
So we're currently in our back garden doing a trial run on spending the night in the tent.
Great. Are you genuinely just going to be filming the whole time?
Not the whole time.
Alright, night night.
Night night, folks.
Sleep well. In front of us is the Isle of Iona.
The rock's very pink as well. It's very rich in potassium feldspar. It's all igneous around here.
I should explain that Thomas studied geology at university,
Yeah,
so
just sort of
he knows
getting
his
a
stuff.
chance to kind of crowbar that into the shoehorn it into
No,
the
it's
pod.
good. It's good, man. And I've on the journey here, I've been listening to about every single podcast I could find on Spotify about St Columba. He grew up in Ireland, quite a rich family, but chose the life of, becoming a man of the cloth. Fairly early in his career, he was involved in a copyright dispute, which kind of sounds strange. He was a 6th century monk, but he basically, sort of copied someone's manuscript, someone's religious manuscript, and fobbed it off as his own, or said that, he was allowed to do that. The other guy was sort of saying, you can't do that.
Plagiarism.
Basically plagiarism, and there was actually a battle fought over this dispute in which several thousand people were killed. And St Columba was just Columba at this point, was obviously very felt very guilty about this, I think. But in the end, the church just decided to exile him to Scotland. So he travelled to Scotland, and he landed on Iona with 12 other Christians, and founded the abbey at Iona. So his pilgrimage, and the route that we're sort of walking right now, would have been to go from Iona in the west, across the country, to the Pictish lands in the east. Tuesday the 11th of August, and we wake up to the delightful sound of rain on the tent, which just fills our hearts with joy, doesn't it, Thomas?
Oh yeah. I think it always sounds worse when you're in the tent because you're hearing all the droplets on the roof, but when we got outside it was actually only a drizzle, and it's cleared up, so all good.
St Columba would have been very aware of this idea of a thin place where the distance between heaven and earth almost seems to narrow and become thin. I just want to read this prayer of St Columba that I've found, which is really talking about Iona and his experience of Iona being a thin place. So let me read that now. Let me bless Almighty God, whose power extends over sea and land, whose angels watch over all. Let me study sacred books to calm my soul. I pray for peace, kneeling at heaven's gates. Let me do my daily work, gathering seaweed, catching fish, giving food to the poor. Let me say my daily prayers, sometimes chanting, sometimes quiet, always thanking God. Delightful it is to live on a peaceful isle in a quiet cell, serving the King of Kings. Looking into his life, I mean, he made a bit of a mess of things early in life, and completely blamed himself for this battle, and God used him in incredible ways in the latter part of his life. But I think that's so encouraging, isn't it, that whatever's gone before, God can use us.
We all start as lost sheep.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Incredible view out over Loch Leon. So we've made a camp. Looks pretty nice, doesn't it? Oh wait.
Wasn't ideal, was it? We had to actually undo parts of the inner tent because they were pulling too much. Our body weight was just pulling the whole tent down the hill.
Okay, so last night we were planning to camp there, but we couldn't find anywhere, so we ended up walking all the way along to here. It took us to about 9 p.m. and we had to camp behind that tree.
So here we are. We're sitting just outside St Andrews. What have been some highlights for you?
I think a number of things. The early campsites on Mull and seeing the sunbeams kind of coming down through the big sort of black rain clouds.
Meeting Anna and Luca was that the first full day of walking on the mainland where we met them?
Yes.
That for me was really cool, just to meet two fellow pilgrims who had done the route. They were coming the other way. They'd started here where we are right now, and they were walking to Iona. And what have been some lowlights?
I think the ailments,
The blisters.
blisters on my feet. When I was sort of washing, I noticed sort of on my legs and body, I had about 9 ticks in one go.
And the midges for me have been, I've found those difficult. I just think they're nasty, aren't they? What have you learnt about yourself on this pilgrimage over the last 2.5 weeks?
Having that space apart from the kind of the busyness of life has just allowed me to reconnect a lot more with God, I think.
And I think this is something that we carry as Christians, is this hope of what's to come.
Yeah.
And that then influences everything. It makes life this incredible adventure with this incredible destination, but actually the journey is significant as well. You might want to get out the tent.
Oh,
Okay.
a guy came off.
Yep. That was a cow.